as violence has abated after, no fresh cases of violence has been reported in the last 24 hours. Home Minister Amit Shah's visit is going to end tomorrow, but he has also made a promise that he will do a 3-day visit in June and also a 3-day visit in July, depending on how the climate of peace prevails as far as the state of Manipur is concerned. On his second day, Amit Shah reviewed the security situation of the state and held talks with all stakeholders, including Kuki civil society leaders, Meitei organizations, women groups, and prominent personality. Amit Shah also held talks with 5 Kuki MLAs from the BJP. According to media reports, the key demand of the tribal leaders who met with Union Home Minister Amit Shah in Churachandpur district, which was one of the worst affected, was the imposition of president's rule in the state and creation of a separate administration for tribal. After the meeting, a member of the Kuki group said that Amit Shah has appealed for 15-day peace in Manipur during meeting with Kuki civil society groups. Meanwhile, reports suggest that during Amit Shah's meeting with the Manipur cabinet late Tuesday evening, 5 key decisions were taken which will be implemented across the state immediately as part of the peace process. Sources said that Amit Shah has directed officials to deal strictly with anyone disturbing peace in the state. On the other hand, Olympic medalist Mirabai Chanu and 10 other sports personalities, and mind you, these are all Padma awardees and Arjun awardees, towering sports personalities across the country, and they are from the hill states. They have written a letter to Home Minister Amit Shah urging him to find a quick solution to the ongoing crisis in Manipur. In their letter, the players have warned that they would return their awards and medals if peace and normalcy are not restored at the earliest. Sir, if I may ask you, yesterday the Home Minister has met various Kuki groups and Meitei groups, and also the Home Minister travelled to Churachandpur and he met those 5 Kuki MLAs. Can you tell us about what exactly have you gathered out of those meetings? What exactly has been conveyed to the Home Minister Amit Shah by those MLAs? Dr. Haokip.
Yeah, before coming into what has been said, I think one of the most important was that within 15 days, Amit Shah promised that he will come back again to Manipur to assess the situation. But what is important is that when Amit Shah was there yesterday, there are reports in Maphodam area, near Thoba district of Imphal, that 10 villages were razed to the ground. So this is the question: when Amit Shah himself is in Manipur, trying to meet the state officials, trying to meet people, on his visit, itself, there are 10 houses, 10 Kuki houses at the vicinity of Imphal Valley being razed to the ground. So this has to be questioned when there are strong votes like strict actions against those who disturb peace would be, taken. Where is the strict action? Unless there is semblance of peace, unless the army and the police controls any kind of rioting, arson, what is the kind of, trust that we can build between the police, the army, and the common people? So there is huge insecurity before we talk about any semblance of peace. So we have to show them on the ground that the army is in control of everything. There's no more violence. There's no further arson happening. So only that can, bring about a semblance of, security and peace among people. And out of what has emerged today, I can tell you a few things. For instance, the Indian Express and other newspaper outlets, reported certain things. Since day two, we have been talking about how miscreants and mobs looted arms and ammunition from police stations and police training centers without any accident incident. Now the term has been used like, those were handled to the miscreants without, any effort, right? It's handed over to them. There's no opposition to looting of those arms. So it's just been handed to those people. And right now there are thousands of assault rifles with ammunitions. So let me take a situation, for instance. Uh, what is happening in Imphal Valley, where rioters, where miscreants like Arambai Tengol and Mete Lupuns are holding thousands of weapons and ammunitions? What if that happens to the other group, the tribal group, the other community, the marginal groups are holding such huge amount of assault rifles? What will be the kind of security or insecurity as such to the masses of Imphal Valley? So that has to be thought without taking stock of the real situation, the unequal kind of power in terms of military, in terms of firepower that has been existing, between the communities. We can't talk about peace. We can see that the chief minister a few days back has branded some village defenders who were being caught as terrorists, right? So even people who are arming themselves with licensed guns has been termed as terrorists by the head of government. In such kind of situation, how will the people trust? We have been demanding that there should be president's rule from day two, that there is a complete breakdown of law and order situation. There is so much mistrust to the government, so much mistrust to the armed forces, the state armed forces. So in such situations there is a dire need to build up confidence to the people who are trying to protect them. And we have every time indicated that the commandos, the police are leading the mob in Imphal Valley to attack villages. They are clearing the little resistance offered by the village defense guards, and then later on, when there is no defense or resistance from the villages, then the common people, I mean the rioters, burn down villages, and that is happening till yesterday.
Uh-huh.
10
No, no,
houses,
I agree with you. I
10
agree with
villages
you.
were burned down yesterday.
What I want to know from you, Dr. Haokip, is what have those cookie MLAs conveyed to the Home Minister? Have they conveyed all these, what you're saying right now, to the Home Minister, talking to him about the kind of situation that is there on the ground?
Since I was not, I'm not keen on contacting with the MLS. Also, I'm not contacting anyone. There are some, kind of, informations that has been, published or informed by the Tribals Forum. For instance, Amit Shah would visit twice in the next 2 months, and would like to solve some of the political demands. Whatever, that is fine. But the problem is that the situation is dire, and then why do you promise 5 days or 15 days in the coming 2 months to come back again? Why can't you deal with it right now, when there is a kind of situation where people are not bulging any kind of talks unless their demands are given? So why don't you talk about their political demands, since this has been hanging on for the last 45 years? So we have to hear into the demands of the political leaders as well as civil society leaders, not just one side, that the territorial integrity of Manipur has to be protected. We have been hearing this for the last 20 years. But what about the demands of the others? As I've already mentioned several times, that in the last 50 years, since Manipur came into being as a state of Indian Union. Uh, for instance, in the 1960s, there has been quite a demand by the Congress party of that state, that uh, statehood should be given to them, because they lack political development. Many people in the hill areas, especially in the northern areas, people wanted to merge with the neighboring state of Nagaland, because they see that they have more power, political power, as well as economic development in districts like Senapati, Tamenglong, and others. So there was so much demand from the Manipur Congress Committee in the late 1960s, and based on that, uh, Manipur statehood was granted in 1972. And if you read into the Administrative Reforms Commission report of 1969, you would find that uh, two autonomous councils has to be given to the tribals in Manipur, one for the Kukis, one for the Nagas. So that report has not been seriously taken into account since the state of Manipur was created in 1972. And after the first round of elections of the uh, autonomous district councils in 1972, from 1978 there were demands that the ADC should be upgraded to a sixth schedule like other areas of the northeastern states. But that has been denied for the last 45 years. So look into the grievance of the hill people. This is sixth schedule or territorial council is not something that will break the territorial integrity of Manipur. But how long this has been delayed for the last 45 years? That kind of grievance also has to be given. And in the meantime, you have in the early 90s, there were demands which I was so much aware about the posters, the kind of writings on the wall in Sekmai, in Imphal. I have seen all those demands. And the Manipuri language was included in the eighth schedule in the early 90s. Yeah, fine. So in the last 4 or 5 decades, Manipur state has been granted as per the demands of the Manipur Congress Committee. Uh, the the Manipuri language was included in the eighth schedule, fine. And recently, to protect Manipur, for instance,
Okay.
many value-based organizations are demanding the implementation of inner line permits, which would, debar or which would provide a kind of wall between the mainland Indians who would come to Manipur by taking permissions for 1 month or 6 months, so that they are being restrained or they are being tracked. That is the condition. And that demand, the ILP demand, despite Meghalaya, the Khasi Student Union had been demanding for the last 2 decades, who were not given. However, Manipur, after a demand of 5 years, it was given. And fine, if it is for the protection of Manipur, we are agreeable to it. And the Union Home Ministry has extended that ILP demand. So the demands of the valley in the last 5 6 decades, three of the demands have been made: the statehood of Manipur, the inclusion of Manipur in the eighth schedule, and lastly and
But Dr.
recently
Dr.
the
Haokip,
ILP demand. But what
Dr.
about
Hauk,
the demand of the tribal people for extension of sixth schedule for the last 4.5 decades? So this is the grievance we are having.